Have you ever noticed that when you try to take a personal break from the crazy world around you, you're apparently a bad person for doing so and need to be punished for wanting rest and relaxation? Well, that's what Lincoln found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro. Today's episode is Sound of Silence. In this episode, Lincoln buys some noise-canceling earbuds so he can escape the chaos around him, but he is then seemingly convinced by his sisters that he promised to do something for Lola and worries what will happen if he doesn't do it. This episode teaches one of the worst lessons you can possibly imagine, and that would be you cannot ignore your family no matter what. Like, what in the hell kind of moral is that? The episode wants the viewer to believe Lincoln was the bad guy because he just wanted a little quiet time with no one bothering him. I mean, for God's sakes, Lucy just appeared in his room when Lincoln didn't want to really talk to anybody, but she went on talking without taking the hint she wasn't welcome. You just feel so bad for Lincoln throughout the episode. I understand it's a very small house with a very large family, and the main premise to the series is Lincoln trying to deal with the chaos around him, but apparently wanting some alone time and having rational reasons for wanting to avoid your family's insanity is a punishable crime. The fact Lola and most of the girls concocted a plan to basically bully their brother after Lola found out why Lincoln was tuning them out was grossly uncalled for and not even one bit justifiable. They had Lincoln believing he promised to do things for them, going based on how he nonchalantly responded to everything they were telling him while wearing his earbuds, and some of those favors he was roped into came off as a form of both subtle and greatly undeserved humiliation. The girls also warned him what would happen if he got Lola mad for not doing the thing he had supposedly agreed to do for her, and they each recall a past instance where they got on Lola's bad side and what their sister did in retaliation. Regardless of whether those stories were real or just made up to manipulate Lincoln, the way Lola was presented in those flashbacks made her look like the worst person in the world. Sure, you could technically say Lola can be very unforgiving when she gets mad, as once mentioned in Toads and Tiaras, and her reaction to people getting her fired up may not be too far off from what she did in this episode, but these flashbacks were kinda pushing that characterization too hard. Either way, Lola forces Lincoln to admit he wasn't listening to her and most of the other girls, and that's when we got some kind of twist ending. Lisa thought Lincoln was going to help her with a science experiment, and Lincoln thought Lisa was still putting on an act like the other girls, but it turned out Lisa had no idea what her other sisters had been doing. It's implied Lisa was the only one not involved in the other sisters' plan, which explains why she wasn't shown in Lola's bedroom when they were having their meeting. So that means Lincoln agreed to help Lisa even though the latter was unaware of the former using noise-canceling earbuds when he agreed to help. It's a very confusing moment in the plot, but in the end, Lisa takes Lincoln's earbuds and is the only one to be spared from the result of her experiment, which causes everyone to go deaf. It was rather unfair that Lincoln had to be on the receiving end of the experiment, but at least the other girls got some form of punishment for what they had done. It's not a lot, but it's still better than nothing. Overall, this episode is just plain bad all the way through. It's an example of how the story tries to convince the viewer that Lincoln was the true bad guy all along, and how you're supposed to feel sorry for the girls even though the story makes you feel the exact opposite. The moral is one of very poor taste. One character gets unnecessarily put through the ringer because he wants some peace and quiet, and it places Lola in one of the worst lights. I don't normally use the following phrase because of how overused and misused it has become, but this is one of the few times that I will actually agree with the fans when I say this episode was an example of Lincoln being tortured, specifically for vindictive gratification. He didn't deserve the collective punishment he got, but I am at least a little satisfied the girls got some form of discipline at the end, courtesy of Lisa. With that said, I give Sound of Silence a 2.9 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Sound of Silence. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.